What's up, everybody? Aloha and happy New Year! Happy New Year! Boy, what a great show tonight, folks. You guys all know I've been waiting for this for a long time, and I think all of you have been waiting for this for a long time. Tonight, special guest, and we're gonna bring him on a little bit. So let's go. Alrighty, everybody. Hey, do you see that little cute thing on the bottom? Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment if you're on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Hey, tonight, after a long absence, none other than Uncle Charlie Iona in the house. What's up, Uncle Charles? Oh, look at that applause. I mean,
I,
oh, they,
am I muted? Yeah, there you go.
look at the hearts. Look at the hearts. Oh my God.
So
Oh, I don't
cute.
know if you can see
Right
the hearts,
on.
but
Yeah, I
uh,
get to see it. I got my phone right here. Thank you so much. Beautiful. We get
hang on,
millions.
Charles. Charles, I, I thought about this and I thought about this. And first of all, can everybody hear us okay? And no more echo. We had Bernard Cavallo on one night, and man, the echo was, of course, it was my fault. My side had some technical issues, but I think we fixed it. So I just like make sure I don't see anybody complaining about echo. Look at all the hearts coming up. I don't know if you can you see the hearts? It's like tons of them.
Y- y-
Look,
Yeah,
my
I see them
gosh.
all.
I
Yeah,
mean,
it's so good to
but
see everybody.
the village, this is all the village. The village that you know that it was back in 2020, almost 4 years ago, Charlie. Almost
Hmm.
4 years ago. Uh,
Yes.
and I'm gonna wait a little bit because I want to take everybody back down memory lane. But it was March of 2020 that we had. Let me hold on. I like put up some of these comments here. Auntie Millie, hi Laurel. Hey Laurel, thanks for helping me with my cloner the other day, yesterday on Facebook. Um, I guess people want to be Melrose, they're foolish. So Blanche, yeah, and then they just, I don't know what they don't what they just have nothing better to do. Um, Susan Pereira, how are you doing, Susan? Thank you for joining us tonight. Haunani, long time no see you guys. Randy, Francisco, aloha, you guys. Happy New Year, all of you. The comments are just flying in.
Thank you.
Debbie, oh boy. And of course, Shar, she got to put up the blasting, nice, beautiful comment. You know how long it took her for make that? Probably a week and a half or 2 weeks. Thank you very much. Our sound technician, critique artist, Patsy Raposo said it's all good. So I'm assuming that the the sound is okay. When are we gonna have the concert? We can talk about that tonight. Um, so happy to see and hear you again, Alyssa. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been that long, Laurel. It's been that. Kehao, aloha, Gina. We missed a dynamic duo. Oh my gosh, you guys are. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger here. There we
You're gonna
go.
make us cry.
Auntie Steph, I know, bro. I
Yeah.
so that's why I get the opportunity when the allergies start hitting me and the tears, how the eyes get watery with allergy. I just bang them like that, and I just can move, and so, oh damn, the applause. How's that? They keep clapping for you, man. Love,
Wow.
love, you are together again. I mean, it's like we were a couple, in high school, and then
Yep.
they broke up, right? Everybody get disappointed. Oh my God, we thought those guys was gonna last forever, and then they get back together, and everybody's like, "Oh, Sharon, aloha, Sharon." Okay. Anyway, we got our good core group of people on here. I wanted to take us
Mhm.
down memory lane, Charlie,
Okay.
because I just say I'm gonna go look and see when was our first show. Actually, our first show was on March 29th, 2020. I'm sorry, March 19th, 2020. But that wasn't Mel and Charlie. That was we did a. I don't know if you remember. We did a community talk with Senator Ron Kochi, and my son was on there. My daughter, you, and so I don't count that one. But the very next night, after that night, because of the response, I remember discussing with you and decided, you know what, let's go do this. Let's just go do this and pass out the information that we needed. But so I took an excerpt. I only took an excerpt, and I think many of you will remember this. But here we go. Charlie, we joked about in the beginning that if we cannot flatten the curve by being responsible and disciplined, then Charles, we're gonna flatten the curve. We're gonna flatten the curve by playing some flat music, some. So we can flatten the curve that way, or we can flatten the curve by being disciplined. The other thing, Charles, why don't you tell them about the plan that we're going to seek to get deputized here as official COVID-19 enforcement officers. And Charlie, let them know how this is going to work.
Well, first of all, we are seeking to be deputized to give the power, and we will be driving around. And you know, if it works, we'll be allowed to drive around, and if we see anyone that fits the criteria that maybe they're taking advantage or abusing, we will stop that vehicle. And then upon stopping that vehicle, we will also we will have options, discretionary options, where we can give a warning, we can give a citation, you know, even jail time. But we figured, you know, so far they never learned nothing. The ones who's abusing it right now.
Year in jail, $5,000 fine, not stopping them, Charles. It ain't stopping them.
Yeah. So Mel and I came up with something that we think it's going to work. The violators will have to spend 24 hours with Mel and Charlie.
That is going to stop them. I think Charlie.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what else to do. You know, well, I spend a lot of time with Charlie on the phone every day. And if somebody told me, Mel, if you do that again, you're going to have to spend 24 hours with Charlie, I would never do it again. I would never do it again. Oh, boy. You remember that, Charlie? That was our first show. Yeah. Oh my God! You know, that was our first show almost 4 years ago, and that was pretty much the start of what became the village. And I still use my village cup, and it turned into an amazing family, and that went on for years. That went on for years. And Charlie, it's just awesome to have you back here on the show. And
I will say this: I miss you very much. I miss the village, and you know, it was just one of those things where I just had to move on for a little while. You know, I got engaged with the airports, and so. But I am so glad to be back. But I would like to give a shout out to one of our dearest sponsors that never failed us, Snickers. Okay, so
and yeah, I have Hall's cough drops. I was looking at that clip, and you know, 4 years ago. Let me see if I can.
Yes.
You know, Charlie, we joked about in the beginning that if we cannot flatten.
Oh, I think you're muted.
No. Yeah, you saw I am muted during it, but you saw how old I have come, and you still look the same, Charlie. You still look the same.
Thank
Yeah, no,
you.
you do.
Thank you.
So, yeah, man, lot has gone. I mean, again, I reading the comments, so forgive me for looking down. I just really, you two edumacated us all through the pandemic. Remember the music. Yeah, um, oh, Pops is, see, this is just like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, where all the same people are back. And uh, I was so worried, Charlie, that we would go online and would have me and Patsy watching,
Hmm.
and maybe my dad. But the village is here, so um, yeah.
Well, one thing that um, I thank you. I thank the village for coming along on the journey with me. When I lost my brother, and uh, I guess in a silent way, I actually gave up playing music for all the time. I haven't. I mean, I've gone back one time. I did recently over at the Sheraton Poipu. I did the Kupuna luncheon that was held by the staff and management of Sheraton, Chip Behut and the gang, and it was a reunion for myself, John Mahi, and Darren Cute. So we got back on stage, and it's like we never skipped a beat. We were telling jokes, and the naughty Kupunas. A lot of them remember us from the days of Kalaheo Steakhouse,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and oh, through that we. I'm glad to say we're going to start playing again,
Good, good
and
stuff.
we're gonna we're looking for a night at Troy wants us to come back one night a week at Troy's to
Oh, right on. That'll be cool.
get the music back. So we're gonna do that. But I did want to say, Mel, I thought about you often. I miss you, my brother, and I wanted to see how you were doing. And I saw your live the other night, and that's why I came on to with that special. I'm here, man.
Yeah.
You're doing great. And Melissa, she part time moved to Kauai, and she was just saying, Uncle Mel's on right now. Jump on, jump on. I go, okay, sweetheart. Uncle going to jump on. And so it was really good to see you in operation. So I like to say congratulations to you
Well, thank
getting
you.
back into this podcast.
Yeah, and we life gets in the way, right? We know this, and Charlie, you took on a major, massive responsibility at the airport. Again, a lot of
Hmm.
people was like, "Wow, what had happened with Mel and Charlie?" We had this discussion in the past. It's like nothing happened. Charlie's busy, and uh, I had to take a break too. It was just too busy. I was too busy, and you know how this is, Charlie. Just the time to set up, the time to schedule guests, the time to my whole plan was to do this whole new program and call it the Coconut Wireless, so we could talk about anything we wanted to, and we bring on
Yeah.
Bernard Cavallo to have a chat just like this, and then man, the system is just all screwed up. The echo was blowing people's ears out, and I'm thinking I just spent a lot of money on this stuff, and but it was my end, and I got all of that resolved. I prayed tonight. I told Patsy before we went, I said, man, I hope no more echo tonight. I hope no more echo tonight. But apparently it's going
Yeah, it
well.
sounds good. It sounds
But
really good.
yeah, this, but um, it, it's been so hectic. It's just been so hectic. And, as I was trying to figure out, I wanted to do a clip. I was trying to figure out what am I going to put a clip of. I knew for sure I wanted the song. I wanted
Hmm.
the music, the flat music. And I wanted to play something from our first show. And thank God for YouTube and Facebook. Everything is stored. But as I was watching our first show, man, it was quite emotional because Charlie, we were talking about your brother. Your brother was still alive,
Yeah.
and I remember, and I was watching this just the other day, and um, you were giving us an update, and at the time, we didn't expect it to go bad, right? We knew he was in bad shape, but we all had hope, and as we followed you on that journey, we started to begin to realize how bad this thing was, and a lot has changed. That's why I wanted to kind of change the platform. and really get away from COVID because we had done, Charlie, believe it or not, we did over 600, I believe it was 600 some odd shows we did.
Wow.
It doesn't seem that way, but that's what it was. And it was about informing and educating the public, but I really wanted to, you know, make it fun, exciting, and just so diverse with all kinds of people on. But
Hmm.
but as I was watching this, and I was, it took me back to that day, and then I remember the call that day you called me to tell me that your brother had passed away, and then all of a sudden it became really real. And even though I had not met your brother, just because of my relationship with you and knowing your relationship with your brother, that it became real. And then this became a mission for us, right? We gotta do something. We cannot just ignore what was happening at that time. Now things have changed, and again, I don't like to get into the debate or discussion about COVID, but it everything, it became like it was like an assignment that we got from our squad commander at the police station. Charlie and Mel, you guys go take care of COVID. Yes, sir. And but we had so much fun. We had brought on so many interesting people, and so I just want to say thank you for all the contributions and the comedy and all that. This was a Q&A, guys. So if you guys have any questions for me or Charlie, oh, Mary, our choir and ukulele band can do an opening song for your show. Send it over. Send it
Ye-
over. Send it over. This thing is like in progress. It's like
mhm.
it's always we're in evolution. We just keep changing, whatever. So, but yeah, whatever,
Well,
whatever.
I'll say I like to send a shout out to Gina Lee and thank you so much for the compliment. Yes, I have lost weight as as the years went by. I found myself, like all Hawaiians, well, most Hawaiians anyway. We we kind of dab on that borderline of diabetes, and my mom had it, and unfortunately, she passed away, and that was one of the factors. My dad had a heart condition, and he passed away at 58. And next month I'll be 65, but this year, 2024, September, will be 12 years since I got my open heart surgery, and going strong. So I just made up my mind to just lose the weight, which I I just, in fact, I went in the other day, and from my last visit to then, I already dropped another 12 pounds, and I went from a size 5X. I was almost a 5X. I'm down to like a 2-3X. My waist went from 54. I'm down to a 49, and I
Wow.
I just feel great. I just feel great. Walking that airport. You know, it's sometimes it's bittersweet working at the airport because you see a lot of people and you become very close to them, and then you see those people who are just impatient. They want, and I understand you want to get off the rock, get back home. But like anything else, unless you're a pilot yourself, you can only go so far and wait your turn to get on that aircraft. And it saddens me to think some of the attitudes, and sometimes I gotta walk away, take a breather, and say, what, this is this is life at the airport. But my goal or my job is to ensure the safety of the bad guys, the good guys, and everybody that travels to Kauai, because we want to make sure that you came here for a reason to enjoy, and that you get to go back home and share the news of how much you enjoyed Kauai. So I have to ensure your safety on that. But then what happened is, and my lovely wife, she just nods her head. So I said, I'm asking her for ideas, honey. What do you think I should do? Then they popped the question to me and says, you'll manage the security at Lihue Airport, but we want you to take over the state. So then they throw Daniel K. Inouye Airport. You know how large that is. They throw that onto me. Then Hilo and Kona, they throw that onto me, and then finally Kahului, Lanai, Molokai, and Kapalua onto me, and I go, okay. And in the beginning, I was like, oh yeah, this Kanaka can go. As time went by, flying three, sometimes three, four times a week. Oh, this Kanaka tide. It was
Um,
getting a little hectic, yeah. But you know, when you have workers and you treat workers as family, I tell you, they'll put out for you. And
yeah.
I am so blessed that I get a good set of managers that we're like family. You know, even when I give orders, it's like brothers sharing one story. I don't tell them, "Hey, you gotta do this." I say it for the betterment of all. Let's pull together, and that's what's been happening. And so I'm really glad I got a good bunch of guys working with me
Well,
and
yeah,
gals.
it's a high stress area, and it's always moving. It's like things move quickly at airports. And congratulations on dropping that 12 pounds. I in Oregon, we're there for 15 days, and I dropped 10 pounds. Unfortunately, it was a 10-pound bag of rice, and I picked up about 5 pounds in the time I was in Oregon. So now
Hey,
you've given me some incentives.
congratulations! You're a grandpa. You and Patsy are
Yes,
grandparent.
yeah,
Congratulations.
that really helps me accept the fact that I'm old, because I'm a papa now. So it's a lot easier. I make 60 years old this year in September, and it's kind of hard to accept. Um, but now that I'm a papa, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. I'm all cool, papa. So it's okay to be old, man, because I got a grandson now, Jahari, and I cannot wait for them to come to Kauai one day so we can show them off. My daughter is very strict about posting pictures on social media, and I don't blame her in the world we live in today. So while as much as I want to post that picture, we're gonna respect my daughter's wishes and not do it. But I can tell you that he's healthy, he's beautiful, and it's just a bundle of joy. And it's just hard to explain. Charlie, you get some grandkids. I think
Whew.
I
I tell you what, you're gonna be faced with. Your grandchild is gonna attach to you like an OP. Then when they come visit and time for them leave, you probably gonna end up in Nikki's suitcase and go back with them. You know, that's how it's
man,
gonna be. I'm
that was
telling
very
you now.
difficult. That was very difficult to leave um, Portland, and yeah, we got to get back over there. So I got don't be surprised you see me working at the airport, Charlie, at the airlines, throwing bags or doing something for get free trips because flights are expensive, man. But we're gonna manage. We're gonna figure out a way. If you call Uber or Lyft and you see me pick you up in my red Nissan Frontier, don't be surprised, guys. We gotta set up on travel fund. I'm serious. I mean, it's very difficult to be this far away from the kids, and even more
Uh,
so the grandkids, because my kids, we spend a lot of time with them and we miss them dearly. But the grandkid, when they're this young, um,
it's
they
so cute,
grow so
and it's
fast, you
yeah,
know,
and
and
you don't want to miss out, and you don't want to miss out. It's like time flies so fast. You feel like I missed something, and you just don't want to. But
so
I'll tell you something, real quickly, what you're gonna learn real fast. My grandchildren, I love them to the moon and back. But over the years, I watch them as they grow. They get real educated on how they pose questions to you, like calling you out of the dock and saying, "Hi, Papa, what you doing?" and, and I bite. I go, "Oh, Papa, miss you, baby. What's the matter? You in trouble?" "No, Papa, but I just like know how you doing." I go, "Oh, Papa, miss you." Then the next question is, "Well, Papa, I get this thing, but I just a little bit short. You think you can help me?"
yeah,
And that's how it starts unfolding from there. And I love it, though. I love it.
yeah, I cannot wait till he gets older, and they're talking about moving even further. They're talking about moving to Texas,
Ooh,
which Charlie. But for me, I think Portland is not a safe place, and you know this. Um,
yeah,
so as much as I hate to see them get further away, the way I look at it, it's an hour and a half extra on a plane, but getting her
right.
out of a sewer of a city,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I mean, we'll accept that. Whatever, it is what it is. But whether it's California, Seattle, Washington, wherever, they're still far away, and so I just want them to be happy and safe, and they land in an area that is a good place for them to raise that new baby. That's all my wish is.
Well,
So,
I think I've got a couple classmates that moved up to Vancouver, um, Canada, British Columbia, I should say, and on the opposite side, right above, New York, going into Canada, that side, they they love it. And I said, when I chatted with them last, I said, would 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 you think about moving back? They said, at the rate with government running the tax is so high. I mean, we're taxed to the max only because there's so many things that needs to be paid for, right? And we have to find some way of paying it. And um, I'm afraid. My grandchildren are already starting to talk about looking at options. And my wife and I, we're at that age where we're comfortable where we're at, but to think if we're going to throw in the towel and move. I mean, I can't see myself doing that, but I never say never. But to have my grandchildren and even my children to move out of state, it'll be like, whew, I'd be a wreck.
well,
I'd be a wreck.
as I was in Oregon, and we went wherever we went, and um, the opportunities for the young kids, the young generation are so
Hmm.
much more up there, and it's like, aside from the weather, which actually was pretty nice for the most part. The last few days it was the typical Oregon rain, but um, and, it's cold, but and that's really why they're talking about moving out, because of weather, right? And you got to go someplace a little more warm. But when you start looking around objectively, not as a upset parent that lost their kids to the mainland, as just if you're looking at it objectively, and you take a look at what's available for those people, when you look at the opportunities in jobs, when you look at the cost of living, when you look at the price of gas, when you look at the price of milk, when you look at the opportunity where you can get in your car and go pretty much anywhere, it's very hard to lure these kids back to Hawaii, because the quality of life, obviously, uh, and the cost of living, and you know, you weigh it out, right? Is the beauty of paradise worth the sacrifice of having to live away from family? And I hate to say this, but it's very hard to validate or justify living here, because number one, this is not the same Kauai, definitely not the same Maui that we grew up in, or Oahu. So it's very hard for
Hmm.
us to convince them, because we're thinking of the or I am anyway, thinking about the Kauai that I grew up in, which is non-existent now for the kids. And then you put that up against what's available for them on the mainland, and it really becomes, again, objectively, it really becomes the better choice to go away. And that is what's sad, Charlie.
Hmm.
That is what's sad.
Well, I shared it with a couple, a relatively young couple that landed, and they were here for about a week. So I get to see them in baggage claim, right? And you can tell when something's not right, and they wanted to know where the tour will pick up, because in most airports there's a designated area for share rides, that type of operation. Kauai is a little different. They're being told, oh, you got to go all the way to either the end of baggage claim B or baggage claim A, and they don't know where they're at. So in the process of talking with them, they were asking, like, we really want to move to Kauai. And I said, do you have a job yet? He says, no, I'm sure there's a lot of jobs here. I said, oh, yeah, there's a lot of jobs. But I don't know if there's something here that you would like. And what do you do? So he was in the high tech, that high tech field, right? And unfortunately, we don't have that here on Kauai. But what was unique about the conversation is he asked me, he goes, how how do you folks make it? I mean, the thing just popped up. I says, well, I was a former police officer, and you get residuals from that profession, and you do this, so it's a little easier. But if you're doing a startup like what you're proposing to do, if you move here, you gotta make sure that you step on a pot of gold right from the get go. You know, and I said, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just trying to be transparent about sometimes people have this this thing in their mind that they're going to come here and it's just going to be boom, take off. And those kind of chances are like one in every 3-4 thousand, I think. And
Yeah.
like e- even when people come with it, they said, oh, we do this special kind of art. Well, it may take off in the mainland, but for some reason it has hard time getting traction here in the islands. And I said, you see a lot of them. They go to Waikiki, they try to make it there. Next thing you know, they start going on the North Shore trying to sell, their arts and all that. And they said, they do just enough, but it's nothing to get ahead. And I think that's the reality of things. So,
It's amazing how
but
many people, if you on Facebook and you look at the pages like everything Kauai, or and you see the people that are, oh, we're planning to move here, looking for suggestions for places to live, and they have no idea what it's
hmm
like over here, how much it costs, and the fact that um, the jobs that are available just simply aren't enough to sustain living here right now, and they don't see that. And they come in, they have this amazing illusion that they can just come here and live on the beach for a while, and until they find a job in a place, and then they end up becoming, they live here after that. And sad.
yeah,
I mean,
well, you know,
who would think of going to some foreign state, like anywhere, pick a state, and just show up and go get a job and go try find a place. How many people, really reasonable people, do that? It's crazy, I think.
well, the opportunities. We lost some really good officers from the Big Island. They packed up what they had saved. They went to Las Vegas. They moved to Henderson, and they found a piece of property. It was cheap, like 4 bedroom, 2.5 bath, that type of property. And they got really, because of their experience in law enforcement, they got picked up by security operations in some of the high-paying hotels and what they do, and they got it made. You
Mhm.
know, so Vegas, you can do that. There's a lot of opportunities there, and there's one thing I did want to say that you talk about the history of how you remember Kauai, but you look at a lot of those operations that was open back then, they're slowly closing down after 50, 60 years
Yeah.
because they. And every time I see the news, I read the paper and I see another eatery closing down. I just, shrink and look down and feel sad because it's hard enough as it is. You can only eat McDonald's so many times, right?
Yeah.
And Jack in the Box and Burger
Exactly.
King,
I mean,
and
that's a nice thing about the
even
mainland is you never run out of a new place to eat, right? I mean, we ate all kind foods, and there was so much variety, and there's a lot of Hawaii people that have restaurants up in Oregon, in Beaverton and Hillsborough area, and it's like eating at home. So I give those guys credit, but they're able to do that over there because the cost of living is so much less. Hey Charlie, I don't know if you saw
right,
this, but Kawaiola Yaris said aloha from Osaka, Japan.
yeah,
So we are officially an international show now.
right on,
Yeah,
right on.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
so they're
Mona's
up there
daughter is in
performing.
South Korea, so that's actually a good place,
Oh,
South Korea.
outstanding, outstanding. Well, good. I'm glad to see that Kawai Ola is really making a name for himself in his productions, doing a good job. So congratulations to him.
Amazing entertainer, and
Look at that.
mahalo
We
for
got
tuning in.
Keith Ey in Thailand.
Oh, but now for
Yeah.
sure with
No.
international show. Yeah, holy crap! What the heck you doing in Thailand, Keith? I mean, jeez. I'm Thailand. That's like that's far, far away. I don't even know what time it is. It's tomorrow. I know that. It's the fifth in Thailand, as
I
is
think
in
that
Japan.
yeah, they're 24 hours ahead. No, something like they're 19 hours ahead or something like that.
Keith
The
lives in
time zone.
Thailand. I mean,
And
I
then
crying because my kids had moved to Oregon,
oh,
and you had moved to Thailand. Wow. Mona, Hanai family in
oh,
Portugal.
it says it.
It's like Kauai
You
50
know,
years
Roy
ago.
Asher.
Huh?
Yeah,
Roy Asher, what?
brother Roy is watching.
I don't. Oh yeah. He didn't
He's
comment though.
he's on. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did he comment? No,
No,
I
no,
don't.
no.
Oh,
He's
okay.
just
I'm only looking at
watching.
the comments. So yeah, okay. I just
Oh,
like
okay.
make sure I get look at this. Look at the internationality of this coconut wireless. Cynthia says her grandchildren in Bulgaria. Lord have mercy.
Wow,
This is
Bulgaria. It's 2:36 tomorrow in Japan, Kavaiola.
yeah, awesome.
You
That's
know,
oh how hey man,
my
were you there
boy,
for
I was
that
watching.
earthquake? They had that massive earthquake in Japan.
Oh yeah,
I hope you're okay, Kavaiola.
Kavaiola. Comment if you folks had a little scare with that earthquake where you were at. Let us know. I
Man,
mean,
had the
it's
had the massive earthquake, and then had the Coast Guard plane had banged the Japan Airlines plane and blow up, and I mean, man,
yeah.
that's, you guys be safe up there. Lord have mercy.
You know. I always told myself that when you go and you visit someplace and something as big as an earthquake happened, you try to grab as many people as you can and you get them to safety. And the thing that I always learn is if there's an earthquake, you stand next to a pillar because that's probably the strongest foundation in the building, right? And then you see these people crying, and you cannot help but think, man, you kind of, that fight or flight syndrome. You just like go help, but I said, how? Nobody would have ever expected that to happen,
Yeah,
and it's tough. It's tough.
I saw some of the videos, man. That was pretty violent earthquake. Well, it's good to hear, Cavayola.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're okay.
Okay. Yep.
It's
Well,
insane.
but let me ask you this, brother Mel. During all this time, what have you been doing with yourself? I know I hear about you on the council. I see you at different events, just on Facebook, but how has life been post COVID for Mel Raposo?
Yeah, it's just busy, busy, busy. A lot of issues. You know this, Charlie. You hear them too, and we have a lot of issues on Kauai, and that's really what I'm been working on is just trying to do our best on the council to try to ease up. We're working on a lot of things that'll be coming out this year. This January, February, just things that hopefully will improve the the conditions here. Our tax code, we got too many people paying too much taxes, property taxes. It's not fair, and so I'm working on a package with that. One of the things we're looking at, and I think a lot of you hopefully we'll find out what the pulse of the community is. But we have such a bad housing shortage that, and we have so many generational families that have ag lands, right? That are huge, like Omal, Kalaheo homesteads. You get all these families that have had these lands for generations, and they cannot build anything on it because of the code. You cannot build additional units on ag lands. Well, I'm going to be introducing a bill that will allow an additional unit, a guest house basically, for each entitled uh, house. So if you have a ag property that you can put up one house on or two houses on, for each of those homes you'll be able to put up one additional unit. Hopefully I'm hoping that this will allow our generational families to have their kids or grandkids move in and be able to keep them at home. But it's things like that, Charlie. I mean, it's we're living in a time that's so different now. We got a lot of infrastructure issues that we got to work on. So bottom line, I guess my answer to your question is I just been really really busy with the council work, and that's kind of it. You know, kind of it. It's as I get older, I get a little
Well,
more patient, and I get a little bit more wiser. I actually starting to understand that we got to really uh, look at things in detail and see, look, make sure we're not doing something that's going to create issues long term. But that's kind of it, man.
well, one thing you mentioned, and first of all, thank you very much for looking at alternatives. How we can, you know, there's only so much anyone can do, but we got to really put our best foot forward, right, and try to do the best we can. For me, it's all about the roads. I mean, I get it, I get it. But if you look back, I mean, I got out of the police department before they could build that bypass where from Puamana all the way into Lahaina town. And that road is a savior. That's the one that gets people because whenever there was bad accidents in Lahaina, right in the Puamana stretch, I mean, you just cannot leave there. So you would have to go around the head the opposite way, and that is dangerous when you have to go through Kakaloa Valley, right?
Yeah.
And I really think that there's got to be some alternative means. You got the alternative bypass, but that's very short in comparison because still the bottleneck is still coming down the road by Coco Palms that area. There's got to be some alternative to do a workaround, and I'm hoping and praying that something can be looked at because as it's going now, even coming from the west side, going back home, say during between 4 and 6 o'clock, you're gonna be a good hour
Yeah.
in your driving. I guarantee a good
Yeah.
hour.
Well, I mean, uh,
Brother
you
Mel,
know,
are you there or are you frozen?
no, I'm here. I'm here.
Hello, Mel.
Yes. Yes. I
Ladies
think
and gentlemen, I think Brother Mel is frozen.
no. I'm here. I'm here.
No, he's doing okay. Well,
Yeah,
you're on
you're
mute right
frozen.
now, Mel.
You're no. You're frozen, Charlie. Hello. Are you there, Charles?
Okay, so now I'm frozen.
Yeah, you're frozen. What happened, Charlie? That's the state. You was talking about the state highways, and I think they had
Okay, brother,
really.
what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna come back on.
Okay, you're
Okay?
back. You're back now. Are you there? Oh well. So much for Uncle Charlie. I don't know what happened. He was doing great. You know, I watch a lot of. Here he comes back in again. Hold on here. All right, let's see. Give him a hand, people. Give him a hand.
You
Yeah.
know, one of those things where you talk in and you talk in and you end up talking to yourself.
Yeah, I then you all I heard you tell me was Mel, you're frozen, and I'm looking at my monitor, which is the Facebook feed, and it's perfectly fine, and you're frozen. But no, you said now you're good. You're good. You're
Okay,
good.
good.
Yeah, you're good. So yeah, as you were talking about the state highway, I know a lot of people, they'll yeah. See, read the comments, Charlie. Uncle Charlie, you're frozen. Uncle Charlie, you're frozen. Ha ha ha. It's not me. It was you. Ah. Oh, this is so cool.
Yep.
This is so cool. I finally get to see the uncles
Well,
with the beautiful first ladies of Kauai. Um, yeah, the Kauai internet. That's kind of what it is. But the problem is we have overgrown our state highway, and I have been trying to get our state. We actually brought the state highways guys to our county council meeting. Good friend of mine, Ed Sniffen, but what are they going to do? My belief is you got to build a Mauka highway. We need a new highway. There goes the Snickers. There
Hmm.
goes the Snickers. But yeah, it's
Ha
you
ha
know,
ha.
I mean, there's no long term thinking. It's everything is, it's just a gripe. And I tell you, when the state came down and I told the highways people, I said, if the fire on Maui didn't teach us anything about evacuation routes, then we got issues because we will not be able to evacuate our population. God forbid we get some other natural disaster. Uh, that where are these people gonna go and how are they gonna get there? And that's, no one seems to be paying any attention to it. Um, Obviously, we as at the county level, my proposal for many years was always to utilize the cane haul roads, ask the current owners for rights of ways so we could use it for bypasses. And if they didn't want to give it to us, then we just condemn it for public use. That is the answer. But that is not what the leadership wants to do. So it is an issue. And it's a safety issue, in my opinion. So, anyway,
Hmm.
Laurel, Charlie equals minus 12 pounds plus one.
No, I had to just nibble on something there. But the thing about it, I don't know if you ever had freeze dried Skittles. A good friend of mine, Warren Tavares, his lovely wife does that as a fundraising event, right? And they bought a freeze dry machine, and I got hooked on that. But brother, in the morning, I poke my finger for check my sugar. Oh, through the roof. And that one teach me one lesson. So no more freeze dried Skittles.
I, I never thought you could freeze dry one Skittle.
Yeah, I mean, you get freeze dried Jolly Ranchers. I mean, unbelievable. You go to these events, at the convention center and all that, and they have all those pop ups outside. They're there. They're always selling that, and I tell you, it's a
So
number
what
one hit amongst
what
the
does a
kids.
freeze dried Skittle?
Well, in the middle, the Skittle, when it gets freeze dried, it's just like it takes out all the moisture, and it comes almost like on Captain Crunch, but with the Skittle taste. Unbelievable. But I had to stop.
But the Fruity Pebbles do the same thing. In fact, guys, today we we we
I'm not
went.
talking about fruity pebbles. I'm talking about freeze dried
No, but
Skittles.
it's like that though. Hey, we went to Safeway tonight. Um, I had to go get some a sympathy card for a funeral tomorrow. But hey, when you walk in the door at Kapa Safeway or Waipoli Safeway, there's all these wagons filled with goodies like
Uh,
um, uh, Keurig coffee pods. Um, there were teas. There were foil pans. There were all these things, and it was all in the wagons at 90% off. 90% off. And so if you guys are in Wailua, Waipoli, go check it out. We loaded up. We loaded, Patsy does baking, so those little foil pans that you buy, you make bread or whatever inside. I don't know what you call them. Yeah, I think it's 49 cents a piece for three in one pack. And the Keurig coffees were a buck for Starbucks and Dunkin' Donut. And so if you guys are in that area, check it out. You better go tonight because I'm going back tomorrow buy whatever's left, and I'm gonna put them on eBay and sell them. 90% off. 90%, 90% off. My
well,
sister. She going over there now. She gonna buy up all the coffee. But oh well. 90% off. It's like that's a loss.
there's they also got that alkaline water, that 9.5. I
Oh
tell
yeah,
you,
yeah.
I stay away from the sodas as much as possible. Might have them once or twice, but at work, And I get Menahuni water for with the dispenser and all that. Uh, for the guys that want to fill out their water bottles. But me, I don't care. I go outside to that vending machine in baggage claim B. I see that 9.5. I say buying them, and I
I
say
you know.
drinking that thing now.
So what the hell does that do? What? I mean,
Well,
it's like when I think of alkaline, I think of batteries, and I think if
yeah,
you was to cut open a battery and suck out the juice, that you would die. So,
yeah.
they put them
What
in a
does it
bottle
do?
of water, and people drink it, and paying money for it.
Well, I think a lot of it is psychological because I swear I think tastes better than the Menahuni water. But
Really?
that's just me. Yeah, because it has that. It just goes down really smooth. It was like that first beer, when you
Oh
started to
yeah,
drink,
yeah, yeah.
that first beer goes down really smooth. But hey, now I gotta say it's been some time since I had a drop of beer. I haven't had a beer, and I don't crave it like when the days I used to play music. But in all reality, because of what had happened with my open heart surgery, when you get on second lease on life, you just not like push it. You know what I mean? And that was part of the reason. My father, when he passed away, he had a he had a heart attack, but he drank and smoked, and his survival rate post operative was poor. And sure enough, it was only so many days after his surgery he passed away. He just couldn't survive the post part of the surgery. And so I
Yeah.
told myself, I love my kids too much. I don't want to do that to them. So
Well, that's a really good message, and I think as we get older, we all look at life a little differently. Uh,
yeah.
you look at my little grandson, and I'm like, oh my god, I better start eating better. I better start exercising because I want to be around for this guy. And
Hmm.
so I mean, I was always a risk taker. I did a lot of crazy things in my life, and now as you get older, you realize that it's just different, and so
Yeah.
it is what it is, right? But you're right. As we get okay, here we go. We got a scientific explanation. The main reason why people choose to drink alkaline water is that it helps to balance out the pH in the body. Thank you, Ryan.
Yep.
That's why I love these shows because you learn so much. Now, I just like know what the hell is pH.
pH in the scientific terms is a penthouse.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. I just like got it. you know, um,
Right. Did I leave you speechless there, Bill?
yeah, because yeah, you did. But anyway, here's Keith from Thailand. They had to drink it. Yeah, I actually I say that as a joke because I think there's a lot of studies that show the benefits of alkaline water. It's just amazing how people have capitalized on that now. When you go to the water section, I mean, Charlie, when you
Yeah.
was growing up, water hose, bro, water
Yep.
hose. WH,
It's
not
never.
PH, water, WH, water hose, right out of the pipe. Tastes like metal, but we gulp them,
Tastes like
remember?
rubber. Yeah,
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
for it.
Depends. It was hot outside and the hose still soft.
Yeah.
Tastes just like the rubber. Or when you jump in the river, I don't care what river, Wailua River, Kalapaki River, Hanamalo. I'm so old that Hanamalo stream was clean. That's how old I am. I'm older than the dirt at Hanamalo freaking stream. But we used to jump in that water as kids and gulp the water. Oh, see, you get cool. I get the best
Yeah.
water. It's the village water.
Yep. The village.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tonight
Actually,
I got to give a shout out first tonight for my assistant, Miss Vanna. You haven't seen it, but there's always a hand coming from the side view, handing me all these kind of things.
well, that's you actually buy the pH. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try that for. I'm gonna try that for a while and see what happens. We have a dispenser. Uh, who knew we were playing? Who knew we were playing in dirty water sprinklers back in the day? See, the difference is back in the day the water wasn't dirty. That's the difference. You know what I mean? Hose was Kolohe water. We see the results tonight. Yeah.
But
That's
remember,
right.
when we drink from water hoses, you try find the shortest water hose. You know why? The longer the hose, the longer the wait for the water come out.
I know. I
That's
know.
why. Yeah.
Yeah. That
So
was
that
always,
that was the day.
that thing would come out hot. Remember that first water that come out, stay hot. You cannot put that in you cannot put that in your mouth. But Charlie, we drank out of all of the hoses. I mean, I know you had sucked right out of the spigot. We never have one water hose. That's what we did. And I don't remember getting sick. I mean, Wailu River, we used to go up on the top with a Hindu monastery, all of that up there, and we used to hike down into Wailu River. We used to make rafts with bamboo shoots, I mean bamboo poles, tie them together, and see whose raft would last the longest going down the stream. And we would drink that water like was your pH, alkaline, whatever. And the water was ice cold, and we would drink them, even though it had stuff floating inside. We never got sick. Never got sick. Now, my God, you go in there, you don't even have to drink them. You get one little scratch, you end up with lepto, you go hospital.
Well,
Terrible.
you bring back memories. Growing up, our playground was, we have the bus up Schwinn bike, and all the way from Kalihi, we go all the way down to Nimitz, and we go all the way into Waikiki. And your parents give you just enough money for pick up something along the way, and we would swim all day at the natatorium. And back in those days, the natatorium was clean. It's not like how it is now. Then when you pow and you got a bike all the way back home, you go right up Kapulu, pick up 1 dozen malasadas, and back then it
Mm.
was cheap. And you just take your time and you go through the back roads. The back roads was going up by Punahou, then cutting over, and you come in the back by we go through the backside of by Kunawai Lane, and then we go up Oliver Heights Road and come down Skyline, and we come down the back roads, and that way you stay off the main thoroughfares, and you just ride your bikes all the way back home. That's how it was back in the day, and I so miss that. I so
I
miss that.
know. We should go, Charlie, just for old time's sakes. We should go, me and you. We should go jump in a stream, Hanamalo, and go drink the water and see what happened.
Yeah, then the next show we're gonna come from a hospital bed.
I heard they get good internet. I heard they get really good Wi-Fi at Wilcox or KVMA, so it should be all right. Oh no, I tell you, no, it's we gotta do a show on the, you know, we did one before. Remember we did one before, and
Yeah,
just we just talked about the old times, about the different restaurants, about the different delicacies at the different restaurants, and you know,
yeah.
if we don't share, oh Nani, you're gonna die for reals. Um, if we don't share those stories, it's gonna be forgotten. It's just gonna be forgotten, and you think about the Laurel bathe in bleach after.
Ooh, Lewy
Yeah.
delicatessen.
Oh, there we
Ooh,
go, Andy. There we go. Now we're gonna start. Now we're gonna start. Yeah. Okay. The $5 box lunch was the big box lunch. $5 had plenty food,
yeah.
and many people have tried to copy. And yeah, we got some good bento places, but nothing, in my opinion, can beat the Lihui Delicatessen. That's just me. And
Yep.
there's some, like I said, there's some good ones. What's the one up by Koa High School?
Paradise Grinds.
Paradise Grinds get one massive bento, and it's
Yeah.
delicious and it's great. But the Louis Delicatessen, for whatever reason, their mac salad, their hot dog wasn't a regular hot dog, but it tastes different. It tastes different when it
You
came
know,
out of that white box.
since moving to Kauai, I've always been that type. Everything gotta be separate, right? Only on Kauai I started to learn how to eat chocolate brownie when a thing little bit rub off on the rice and get the brownie taste on the rice. And I learned to enjoy it that way. Because that's how they get them in the box lunch at Paradise Grind. They always get the brownie right in the corner.
So, Charlie, I'm glad you brought that up because so you wouldn't eat the food together.
Nope. You'd be surprised like how I eat vegetables now. If you talk to my wife, you know, the Supreme Pizza. As long as get bell peppers in there and take me 30 minutes, I'll pick out every bell pepper before I take a bite of that pizza.
Wow.
That's just me. Back in the day, sushi, I poke out all the vegetables in the middle, just leave the tuna and you
That is quite surprising. No, we were at a party. I think I can't remember. I might have been at Smith's recently. I think it was my cousin's wedding anniversary, and whoever I was in line, they were so careful because Smith's no more dividers. The plates
know.
they had didn't have dividers, so that person had just like everything was so separate. Like yeah, and they told me, "Oh no, I cannot eat if the food touch each other." And I was like, "What is wrong with you?" In my head, I didn't tell her this personally, but so I heard you say that, and I'm like, okay, that has to be a psychological issue,
Oh
um,
yeah,
because like you cannot separate chili and rice, you cannot separate stew and rice.
brother, chop steak. I used to separate the steak and the onions, but now I just grind them. But back then, everything was separated.
Wow. So you would never mix everything up in one big bowl and
But
wow.
now, yeah.
Oh, now
But
okay, now can.
but because I've really cut back on my intake because health reasons, right? I find myself eating more fruits. I've just been dying. The late Dr. Fukino, his lovely wife saw Stephanie and I at the post office, and I guess they have a common mango tree, and she just came out with a bag and says, "Brother, here, I'm trying to give this away, but nobody wants it." It was a full bag of half ripe common mango, and you know what half ripe means, right? The bugger
Mhm.
is ripe.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I took some, and we always like to share with our neighbors. Where we live up in the valley in Waimea. So I gave the neighbor behind. I said, "Hey, go eat this." So I took about 8, and he took out the rest. That night, Stephanie went peel them and cut them for me, and she says, "Okay, honey, you get mango for a couple of days." I went pound that thing right then and there. Not with shoyu, no more patis, just straight up.
Oh yeah,
Come.
yeah, yeah. I often wonder like if you get one good mango. Not all mangoes are good, but some are better than others. I still think our Raposo mango from our backyard is the best mango I've ever had. You would never
You know,
think
you,
of
you know who endorses that? Who endorses your mangoes?
who.
Is none other than Khalil Perez.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
He endorses your mangoes. He
Oh
always
yeah.
said, "You like eat good mangoes? Go see Mel. Go
He
see
will
Mel."
drive. He will come out of his way. If I get, it's kind of been weird the last couple of seasons. I'm not sure why.
Hmm.
Um, and I think we're gonna have to prune the tree. But yeah, it's just he would call and say, "Hey, what? No more extra mango." I say, "Oh, boy, yeah." He'll drive. I don't care what time, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Him and the wife gonna come out to pick up his mango. But
Yeah.
you cannot blow on Raposo mango by putting shoyu, sugar, salt, and I mean, I growing up we had a lot. Green mango. You put the soyu, the vinegar, the salt and pepper. But on Raposo mango, it's like one wagyu steak. Yeah, you're not gonna put ketchup on wagyu steak. You're not just not. You can eat. You can enjoy the taste, and that's the Raposo mango is the same way. And I don't know what's gonna happen with this damn tree. I see the flowers. I hope
Mhm.
I hope we're gonna get a really good uh, harvest this year, and we'll definitely make sure you get. These things are huge. No show you on Raposa. Absolutely not.
Yep.
Absolutely not. That thing is now down the road. Patsy's auntie has the little what they call little ones, the little mangoes. I don't know what you
Mm.
call them. Come on, help me, village. What's the little mangoes that you can make? You make pickle mango. Somebody knows it. Um, the heck is that mango? It's
Not
the little number nine. Maybe it's a
not
number nine.
theory, but
Huh? Which one?
number 9.
No, I don't. I think the number nine is bigger. Um. Anyway, whatever it is, that tree is massive, and her uncle picks them all, and then Patsy will skin them and then make pickle mango. And I know you've had her pickle mango. Is
Oh,
that
oh yeah.
that mango is the
The
best.
the last time she made, and I came down to the courthouse to pick them up. Ask me if the thing made it to Waimea. No.
Well, we was driving home the other day, and because they live right down the road, and as we were coming up, Patsy said, "Oh, look, the get plenty of mangoes this year." So we will definitely share the pickle mango again, Charlie, because if I crack that jar open, I eat them all. I cannot stop. I just cannot stop. And then
You, it's
then
like when you eat mochi crunch, right? You cannot just eat a few.
yeah.
Once you start going, even for me, and the thing about that's bad for me when I start eating mochi crunch, I start looking around for popcorn, and if I
Oh,
can see get microwave popcorn, I will microwave and make some, and I'll just
uh,
start going for it.
Patsy bought this bag, and I know she watching now. She gonna find out. But she bought this big bag of mochi crunch from Uaji Maya. It's a Japanese store up in Oregon. So yesterday I was snooping around for some snacks, and I found that bag because mochi crunch is actually, aside from the salt, it's pretty healthy. It's not bad. But I had I couldn't rip the bag open. I cut the corner. I pour a few pieces in my hand. I throw them down my mouth, and it tastes like crap. But it was sesame Arade. You know that sesame, they get
Yeah,
the little, that
yeah.
thing does not belong on Arade. I don't know who did that. That is horrible, and it's that's bad. And the other regular mochi crunch, the other day, oh boy, chocolate. Look at my sister now, chocolate mochi crunch. Maybe I'll go dip that sesame Arade in chocolate. Maybe we'll do that.
You know, I gotta tell you this, Mel. I am having so much fun with you tonight. It's bringing back so much memories of when we first started. And folks, I like to say this: if it, the time being away from the village has really made me realize, we really did our part, and everybody did their part to listen in, and everything that we did, there was always we had the seriousness, and then we always had good fun. And I hope that we can rekindle that starting tonight, and just let everybody let their hair down. Just just had good fun with us. I tell you, because and when you start getting up there in your age, when you get hit the 60s, right? We cannot live forever, but we gotta make every minute count. I don't care what anybody says. Let's make every minute count.
Yeah, that was kind of my message the other night when I decided to go on and do a New Year's message. Was like, we all got to do our part, and understanding that. Oh yeah, here's my dad for the village that maybe don't know. My dad recently moved back to Kauai, and sometimes he thinks he made a mistake. It's not the Kauai he grew up in, but I'll be with my family and enjoy it. Yeah, uh, yeah, my dad loves that Raposa mango. So I think my dad. Did you come home yet, Dad, or are you still in Colorado? He's traveling the world, and deservingly, he's an amazing dude. I'm trying to find the post because I don't want people to think that we ignored it. Yeah, man, like, Lord have mercy. There's so many comments. We appreciate. We love you guys, man. Here we go. So we never forget, Dana, the concert that we kept talking about. You know that when we were talking about this concert, and there were so many volunteers at the time that no worry, no worry, no worry. Uh, and then once we hit the, I don't know what you call it. A lot of people seem to think we're done with COVID. Well, COVID is not done with us, and I think we all learned how we can best protect ourselves. But everybody went back to doing their own thing, and but I will get to with Charlie, and we're gonna figure out something. We're gonna figure out how we're gonna make that happen. And I admit, I kind of forgot because again, life got in the way. But we did make that commitment, and that's something that we're gonna talk about. And may not be as big, because remember what we did say, right? Charlie was paying for everything. That's what we talked about. Yeah, Charlie was gonna pay for everything. So I'm not too concerned about the cost because Charlie gonna pick up the tab. But yeah, we'll figure it out, Dana and the village. we'll we will figure it out, and we will definitely want to do something. And
My hope and goal is, when we do something, we just let everybody, whether we know you or not. You come out, we get good cocoa, we get some good music for everybody, and then when the night is over, everybody had their fill and they can go home with a smile.
Yeah.
And that no matter from that point on, we one big ohana. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, it was, and I don't like sound like we bragging, but it became a phenomenon, and then it disappeared. And I know you know this, Charlie, because you probably got the messages from people asking when we're gonna come back on, and some people really built their life around the show. I know people that would just every night they would go get their poo-poos and their beer, and they would sit around and watch this thing, put the thing on the TV screen and watch. But um, we were
Hmm.
doing it as if it was just natural. I mean, we just did it, right? It was just something that we did every day, like brushing your teeth. And it was only after we stopped that you know I began to realize that a lot of people relied on that information, and we were just happy that we could do that, and we were just blessed that we had guests that were willing to come on, and many of the guests that came on were going against the grain at the time, and we give them a lot of credit for the courage. So, but yeah, we had to cancel Zoom meetings on Mel and Charlie night. Yeah, that it was just yeah, it was I couldn't I didn't even realize how many of those shows we did until I was going through the videos to see to find one that I wanted to take a clip of, and there's a lot. And as I go through and I look at all the different people, actually, Charlie, and I don't know if it's age or PTSD or whatever, but a lot of those things I had completely forgotten. We had those people on the show. I mean, we had a lot of different people on the show, and
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
I mean, covering all kinds of stuff. We had, you know, the Feel Good Fridays were fun. I mean, just the Feel Good Fridays, having business people come on, listening to their
Yeah.
challenges, and you know, politicians and blah blah blah. But oh, by the way, me
But
and Josh Green made
yeah,
up. Me and Josh Green made up. Yeah, we actually talk
good.
to each other now. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I tell you one thing. There's a lot of things. What going back to the serious side of this conversation that what I'm about to talk about is, as you know, I was a police officer on Maui, and my in-laws at the time they had their home in Lahaina, and so when the fire happened, my son called me, and he was separated from the mother of his two children. The two older ones they're already grown up from a different person, but he said, "Dad, I lost everything." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Dad, the place I was living, it was down." And I can remember him saying about our grandson that all my grandson said was, "Oh, Papa was so hot, I could feel my back. It felt like it was on fire." So, my two small ones, my grandson and granddaughter, got affected by the fire. And there are some families, a lot of people are affected by that fire. And I've got my son's cousins in that neighborhood. They lost the house, and some of the other family members, like three, four in a row, all gone. So I think the question is, what can we do? And there's so much, but there's only so much we can do. I mean, there's a lot of people are trying their best, um, and as my brother who passed away, Eddie, he was adopted, right? And he was adopted by Bisson. So his adoptive father and Mayor Rick Bisson's dad were brothers. So that's my relationship with the Bisson family. So when I brought my brother's ashes back home, it was turned over to them, rightfully so, because they raised my brother, and he was put to rest up in Haiku on Maui at the Veterans Cemetery with his dad. So those are the kind of things I think I still think about how can we help Maui. I think it's going to be there for a long time. But I think what Kauai went through, I can, when during Hurricane Iniki, it made the Kauai people so resilient. I mean, everybody asked me, and I said, I gotta tell you, I live in the middle of the people that survived it, and I can only imagine back then what it was like. I remember when I came up to help the police department, I still can remember all those telephone poles lying down. I mean, it was like, hey, you cannot pass through this place. I don't know how we're gonna do it. And we were staying at the what is now, I guess, the Marriott at Kapa, across from the Longs, the old Sheraton.
Yeah.
Oh, that it is a Sheraton. Yeah, we were staying there. And I thought about it and I said, man, that's how far you and I go back, because that's when I first met you. Was back during those times.
1992, bro. 1992.
Yep.
That is a
Whew.
long time ago too. And yeah, yeah, and as bad as that was, as bad as that
Hmm.
was, and I know I was here. I don't think it compares to what happened in Maui. And not just, I mean, Kauai was island wide. I mean, it's like a lot of people. We lost a few. We had a couple of fatalities, but it was something that people could prepare for. It was something that we could, and it wasn't your traditional hurricane where you had days, because everyone had just expected this Iniki to continue on the straight course when it made the 90-degree turn. But the sense of resilience from right after the storm, once we got the tourists out of here, because they were the ones that were complaining and grumbling and screaming and fighting, and once we got them out of here, uh, the the rebuild was just everyone helped each other, and no one was pointing fingers at the government. No one was blaming politicians. No one. Everyone. The main focus was, let's go help you get your tarp on your house. Let's go get your buildings done. Let's go make sure you get food. It was just incredible. And I was a cop at the time in the looting detail, and we only had 5 cases of looting, and 3 of them were military people that were from Oahu. Just 2 local people got caught. So the, then you look at Maui, and man, it was the lack of trust on government. I mean, you saw the conspiracy theories. Green laser beams started the fire. Oprah and all these guys conspired to burn this place down so they can buy. And maybe some of you believe that. I choose not to, because I spoke to firemen from Maui. I spoke to Charlie. There was a police family, very very well known police family on Oahu, HPD. And for the life of me, I cannot remember. One of the brothers plays music, and he's a retired fireman on Maui. I know you know the name. I don't know why I cannot think of. I mean, all of the brothers were cops in Honolulu. But anyway, he came down, and I had
Macadang Dang.
no, 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 Hawaiian.
No, no, Randy Mac.
No, oh shucks. Anyway,
Um,
but he got called back. They hired him back on to go be part of the recovery crew, and he was privy to a lot of information about what had happened. And I had the discussion with him, and it's quite clear, that fire was not caused by a green laser beam from space. So anyway, my point is, when Iniki happened, the the feelings afterwards, the community afterwards, it seemed like it was automatic that we were just going to help each other, and they did that in Maui. But there were a lot of people that were in the way, and that is what was hard to watch for me, who witnessed that in Iniki and just saw a completely different environment. So, but our prayers
mhm.
go out to them, and we did
Yeah.
offer to send some people up, and that, like after Iniki, we didn't want to see people here. We didn't need more people here. We had the initial first response from FEMA and from everybody else and from the state. The last thing they needed was more people to complicate things. They needed
Hmm.
they needed their time, and they needed the resources, the food and the supplies. So, but anyway, it's sorry for ranting, but Yes, Joanne was the
No.
mayor during Iniki, um, and you know again, it was it was like how Maui, you know, was something that we had never really experienced in the past to that magnitude, where the whole island was wiped out, and similar to what happened in Lahaina.
If you look at just the overview shots of the Lahaina area, all you see is gray, right? The aftermath, the rubble and ash. And I think that's the thing psychologically it sticks with a lot of people. Um, what made things tough for me was when the fire happened. I got called, and I'm on Kauai, and so now um, I'm being tasked to see how we can house close to 4,000 people at the Kaului airport. And the first thing I said was, the airport wasn't made to house anybody. That is not an emergency shelter because if you designate it as such, they're going to expect blankets, they're going to expect food, they're going to expect water. No, that's a transportation hub. And by God, someone from government made that call, and maybe it was just to say, you can go there, to find some kind of relief. But the first thing is people just flooded that place. And I remember that night, I think we had a crew of 10 to watch close to 4,000 people. That's why I commended those officers. And I wanted them recognized by everyone when we at the Top Cup luncheon. I said, here are the individuals that has a mechanism when flights go down and they got to keep people overnight in the holding rooms, right? Because TSA is gone, they got to keep things sterile. So the next morning when they open up, people come up and they can all go catch their flights and go out. But not when after TSA leaves, you're ordered to open up and you let a couple thousand people just go right upstairs to the concourse. Now you got people who already been screened. Now they mixed in with people who are unscreened. So the next morning, guess what happened? Everybody had to leave and everybody had to be re-screened to go back in. So when you get a crew of people of like 10 or less, they got to be there for play traffic cop, play directional person, uh, have a shoulder that people going to cry on, and all of that, and trying to keep some sense of normalcy. It is tough. It is tough. And so,
Yeah,
just living through that ordeal. Then what even makes it even harder is I leave Kauai to go up there to go into the command center because I said, why now? Who comes into town is the president. So now I remember the first comment I said is, please, if there's anything I can offer, you've closed off the road from all people going into Lahaina, right? Do not let the president go to Lahaina with a motorcade and open up the road just to let him through. You're going to create a bad taste in everybody's mouth. And so that's when they brought in the Ospreys to fly him in. You know what I mean? But even that became, I can, you know, I'm working the cameras and I'm just telling the guys, okay, keep an eye on this, keep an eye on that. And, it was sad. And I hate to air dirty laundry like this, but, there's so many people that we got to thank for keeping everybody safe. But I had a crew that they were stationed to be in the bush, right? To make sure that if anything goes wrong, they're there to respond. When everything was done, nobody bothered to tell them, and it's over. And they kept them there for several hours. They didn't eat, and then finally, I make the call. I said, "Hey, did anybody go call these guys? Let them know that everything is done." So it's those kind of things. I think coordination is so important. It's so important that whatever we do for dignitaries as well as the locals, we do it in some sense of fairness that it goes across. We do it for everybody. We don't isolate, or you're gonna get special treatment, and this one not gonna get special treatment. You do it for everybody, and that's always been my thing. I just wanted everything done properly.
yeah. I mean, I think the lack of preparation. I think and that's where I think whether it's a hurricane, a fire, a pandemic. I mean, uh, when the event happens and we're not prepared, then that's when you see the bad things happen. And we got to be better prepared in everything, and that's why we have emergency management. That's why we have these agencies that's supposed to be training year round, so that when these things hit, and I know we shared this during the show years ago, is that in the military there's a checklist for everything. There's a checklist for things that may never ever be used because it's so unlikely that it'll happen. But we train
Hmm.
for it, right? The military trains for it, and but when it happens, everybody knows what their function is. Everybody knows where they got to report. Everybody knows what they need to take, and that is what
Right.
we don't do in civilian organizations, in governments, in local governments, state governments. Uh, then what you have is you have a bunch of lay people. Well, I don't, because you're a governor or a mayor or a council member or a state senator or whatever it is, that means you were popular in an election. That's all that means. That doesn't mean that you have the expertise in organizational planning or disaster response. So you expect these people to appoint people that know this stuff. So when the stuff happens, everybody's prepared. And you would think that after Eva, somebody mentioned, I think Keith mentioned Eva. I was in basic training in Eva, so I missed that one. But from Eva to Iniki to floods to all of these things, pandemics to fires, I mean, you would think by now we would have figured that out. That we
Hmm.
gotta, uh, Dana is talking about the toxins and all of these things after the fire. Did anyone really think about that before they sent people in? Because they don't have a checklist, they don't have the expertise, and all of a sudden, not really. Well, you guys got to wear certain respirators. You got to wear certain types of protective gear if you're going to go into those toxic areas. So all of these things should be known well in advance. So I don't know. I just hope our state and counties understand and learn that we got to be prepared for everything, and just got to do a better job. I just got to do a better job. So anyway,
Well, one thing that did come out, and what it taught us is that a lot of the structures prior to this fire had been standing for years, right, for generations, and people were living amongst that stuff, and nobody brought up anything at that point. It's just that when the fire did its damage, that's when they started to bring up these things. So I said, like I was sharing with my family, my children, because my son and my daughter, a lot of the rogue collection, they came in by boats and all that. That's my nephew's place along Kahana because they wouldn't let them into the fire zone. The Coast Guard made sure they couldn't come within a certain portion to bring in, you know. So that's why a lot of them was coming around the head through Kakaloa, and they went as far as they came. They called everybody. They said, "Hey, we're gonna dump it off here because we cannot go anymore," and they dropped it. Boom, had so much goods, so much goods, and so my daughter and my son they had a container load, and they took it over to the Wailuku Center where the relief center, right, where the Red Cross was at.
hmm
Do you know that they got turned away? And all they was doing is going in there volunteering to help because they grew up on Maui when they're tiny. They grew up on Maui. These are my stepchildren. And when I heard that, it hurt me to think that you know you could have just let them leave the container over there so in case you ran out of supplies, you got more supplies. It was all neatly packed. It wasn't like a big mess like you saw at the Capitol where they just brought stuff
yeah,
down. Now what you gonna do, right? You have to separate it. I said that's why I always say you better be careful what you ask for because if it's gonna come like on tidal wave.
yeah.
And I was hurt for my daughter and son because they took out spent their own money, got all the goods, did the collections, got the container loads, got it up there, only to run across this problem. And there's a lot of lessons learned. And I just hope, and pray to God that we'll be better prepared should there ever be another incident on a different island. But you know, and I know one thing because Big Island has been through so much with the lava, the eruptions, right?
Hmm.
You know, we can all learn a lot from them because, like our friend Harry Kim, still going. He's still preparing how it's supposed to be done. It's a textbook and what he calls, right. And I think we got a lot to learn, a lot to learn.
Yeah. Well, again, in the military, after every event, there's a after action report. There's the critiques, they're the foundation is that we're going to train, and when we're done with the deployment or we're done with the exercise or whatever, then everybody gets together and figure out what worked, what didn't, and how we can improve. But that's a
Hmm.
continuous basis, Charlie. It's not from crisis to crisis. It's not like after we get the
Yeah.
hurricane or after we get the fire, oh, we're gonna get together, figure out, and then don't practice it or don't improve it, and wait for the next crisis and hope that the people that are in office or in their positions are still there, and they haven't been rotated out with a new administration or whatever. And that's I think that's why you got to have the structure has to be in place. So it doesn't matter who is in the office because the checklist doesn't change, and that's
Hmm.
that's why the practices, the procedures that the military uses have been around for a long, 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 long time, through many, many different leaders. So, but all right, wow,
Well,
jeez,
that's how hospitals are, right? You you have a CEO that leaves, but the hospital and its functions does not stop. The checklist is there to
yeah. Can you
protect,
imagine if every
save
trauma
people.
that came in ER, they had to group up and, hey, what do we do on this trauma? No, there's a procedure, right? There's a standard procedure that everybody follows. And if it's a heart patient, if it's a burn patient, if it's a car accident, I mean, people go to their posts and they do their function, and
Hmm.
um, and that is what just as you watch these things unfold, and it's like, man, does this, like, I cannot say what I want to say because it's a bad word.
Well, I got upset when I just heard the words that came out of the former emergency managing director saying that the reason we didn't turn on our sirens is because people thought it was going to be tidal wave. And I remember staring at the television set and I said, okay, so the people that came in from the mainland, do they know what our sirens sound like? No, right? I thought sirens were to get your attention for you to go turn on your radio and then you get the message then. That's that's how it works. And it was just like, if you're going to say something, at least try to sound educated. Don't sound like a boo boo head. And that's how it came across. I was like, oh man.
I, you know that sometimes you got to own it, right? If you screw up, you got to
Yep.
own it, and I, that to me, I think it's criminal. I mean, I do. I think it it's negligence when you come out with a response like that. That, oh no, it's only for tidal waves. When in the policy manual, in the actual the rules, the state guideline is for all, for everything,
Hmm.
for everything. And then you turn on your local radio to get the details. That for him to come out and say, "Oh no, I thought that if I blew the siren, people would think it was a tsunami and they would run to the hills into the fire." Like, are you think that? I honestly couldn't believe that he said that. I don't know who prepped him. I don't know. No, I guess he wasn't prepped. Um, but to say, I never like people run into the fire. Like, okay, Charles, I'm going to ask you this question. If you had a choice to run into a freaking burning fire or go jump in the ocean, where would you go?
I go into the ocean.
I'll go into the ocean. I'm not going to run into the
Yeah.
fire. Even if I had a tsunami
No, but
coming, I take my chances.
no,
I'll
but
take my chances.
the way he prefaced the whole thing was there is a distinct. I understand there's a distinction between the sound of the sirens, right? But how many people that come because we used to see it in the phone books. They tell you if you
Yeah.
hear the sound oscillating, it meant this and that. But in a time of distress, how many of you listen real carefully? Go, okay, I get one whoa 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 and a whoa, and you go spread this thing. It's now which is which? During that period of time, you come more goddamn confused, and they say, "Shit, I just run."
I mean,
You know what
like,
I mean?
yeah,
So
like, who got a phone book anymore? Who get the damn phone book? Then you go to front of the pages. Oh shit! You got to look at which is it a long wailing tone? Is it a wavering tone? I mean, is it a bomb? You know, like really. Like, hold on. Honey, wait, I'm gonna get the phone book so I can determine what kind of alarm this is. Because if it's a bomb, then we're gonna act differently than if it's a fire or a hurricane. I mean, come on. Like, really. You know what?
I can just
Like,
picture you. I can just picture you, Patrick, with the phone book, waiting outside and listening. Okay, honey, what was that? Was it a woo 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 or a woo?
yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. Patsy was saying, no, I thought it was a woo woo. And I was saying, no, I only heard one woo. Well, what does the phone book say? I don't know. The phone book don't say. It says woo, woo.
No, the phone book says run,
Yeah, I
run,
mean,
get out of here.
turn on your damn radio station. I mean, I just don't. I don't
Uh,
get it. I don't get it. But you know that whole thing. I
oh
mean,
man.
again, and you know, it's probably not wise to because we're not making fun of that. But you cannot help but just is that
No,
the bro?
we're not
Okay,
making fun of it.
I
We're
know
just making
we've
fun
been
of it.
on, been on for an hour and 37 minutes. But I just like ask if anybody has been watching the budget meetings on Oahu at the legislature. Charlie, I was shocked to hear what I heard, and I actually made a post the other day because the legislature, Senator Dela Cruz and Senator Donna Mercado Kim is like freaking out because they're hearing from the finance department, budget and finance, all these state agencies saying they get all these teleworkers. So Donna Mercado Kim says, "Well, I mean, what are you? You can get so many teleworkers. How many? How often do they telework? Well, they can telework up to 4 days a week. 4 days? You guys still allowing? Well, yeah, you know. And who makes the call? Who determines who gets? Well, it's the employee's choice. And up to 4 days? Yeah, 4 days. I posted it on my page if you want to go watch it. And apparently they got to state a reason why they need to telework, and everybody has the same reasons. And it's number one, distractions at work. Number two, stress from commuting to work. So I think it was either Donovan or Mercado Kim says, "Hey, how come everybody get the same answer? Like, is everybody? What's a distraction at work? I mean, that's your work. Who's creating the distraction? And stress from commuting. Everybody got to drive to work. Whether you work at the legislature, the state, the county, wherever, hotel, gas station, everybody got to drive to work. So what? These people are getting paid to stay at home and work. And well, it's kind of self-reporting. You know, we kind of self-reporting, making sure that they're only doing their work. And is anyone checking to see if they're maybe doing childcare or they're doing anything else? No, no, it's self-policing. How the hell? And there's a lot of them. And that was day before yesterday. Yesterday they had the D-bed. Jimmy Tokioka was up there as the department head now, and they found out on the floor. The Senate found out that we are paying bonuses to people in government, and they're like, "Since when we pay bonuses? How? Where are you getting the money?" Well, we use the money that we haven't used, that's left over from other items, from other, maybe salaries that we haven't, positions we haven't filled. And Donovan is like, so we can take that money back. If you're not going to use the money for what you told us you can use the money for, and you're using it for bonuses. And then Jimmy Tokioka, to his credit, came up and said, don't have to worry, because when I saw that, I asked the same question, and I can assure you that is not going to continue. But my point is bonuses, right? So Charlie, they hire you on a contract, and you have this is what the state says you can get paid, and then the departments can actually pay a bonus on top of that. And I've never seen that or heard of that, and I'm glad that Jimmy Tokioka is saying that's not going to happen anymore. But it's just I don't know who's watching to make sure that we're spending our money the right way. And it was just I thought only the counties had those issues, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Whew, that's
Teleworking. I mean, teleworking was there was a time where teleworking was needed, but those days are gone, in my opinion. If you want to work, you go to work. You go to the office, you answer your doggone phone, and you do your work. But so that was quite enlightening. Anyway, I sorry to vent. That was my vent. That was my vent.
no, it's very educated, very education given to the people out there. So how do you feel? Our first night as the Mel and Charlie combo back in
Bro,
the saddle again.
it's man, it's I figured we would not be able to do it in an hour because we just had a lot of catching up to do, and we could probably go on until midnight. But
Yeah.
I don't want to. I know a lot of these guys got to go eat their dinner and bocha and um, but it's always a pleasure. It's always fun, and you never know what's gonna come up. And you know, sorry, this was supposed to be a Q&A, and I don't know, there were a couple of questions only, but other than that was a lot of positive comments of love that we appreciate you guys so much. um, we'll definitely have more of these for sure, as things develop around. But I just said thank you, man. Charlie, it was fun. I didn't
Oh,
bring my
thank you.
ukulele, so we're not gonna be able to. Well, I cannot do the flatten the curve song, but yeah, it was. I
Yeah,
missed you
but
guys too, Patty. It was great. It was great. It's like we know you guys personally. Well, I do know Patty because she picked me up once and took me to my doctor, or took me to the airport. Or yeah, Melissa picked
yeah,
me up and took me to my doctor's appointment, and Patty took me to the airport. That's the village, man. That was so cool.
yep. But thank you so much for having me on there, Mel. I mean, I really had a nice time. A little rusty, but uh, the laugh is still there. Definitely, the Snickers is still here. And
Yeah,
but as most of you can see, I didn't finish the whole thing. So
I I I
the things.
I I don't, I'm trying to figure out if that's the same Snickers that you started with, or that's the remainder of the third Snickers that you had eat since we started the show.
No, this is the same one. See, this part here is empty right here, but this is the big one and comes in two. But no, it's just and I tell you, I've become an expert on bananas because I just love bananas. I anytime especially Jackie over at Wong's, they
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
little cart that's outside, and they got the apple bananas. I always buy from them. I mean, I bought it once, and I definitely will go back. It's so sweet, and I definitely want to go back and get more from them. Good vegetables, and folks, if on Kauai, if you haven't made it to the Grove Farm Farmers Market, I believe it's on Saturdays, right? There at Grove Farm, you get a chance. You gotta take a look at some of the produce from some of the farmers. I mean, it is out of this world. You get a chance, and if you if you have the time, and who knows, you might see Mel and Charlie doing a live from there one day, and you might be on the air with us. So something to look
You
for.
never know, man. You never know.
Yep,
You know,
yep.
my yeah, it was cool. And you folks have been so kind. Your comments, I'm trying to put them up as quick as I can, but they're scrolling really quick. So I sorry if I missed any of your comments, but I'm gonna get Patsy trained to be a moderator, so she can be moderating from outside, so I don't have to, and she can do all of these things. The coconuts, the village, miss you. You guys got your flow in the N, M, and C. We in the village, we're a little bit rusty too. Forgot how to raise awareness about serious Yeah, that's the plan. Trying to raise awareness, and there are a couple of things,
Hmm.
initiatives that I'm working on, that I'm going to ask for the village's help in helping me send it viral across the state. Won't get into it tonight. We'll do it another night. But I just want to say thank you guys to our friends and families that have tuned in again. Honey in BC, you guys have been there from the beginning, and all of you, we just appreciate you guys and love you guys. So Charles, until next time, brother.
Love you, man. And to all of our viewers tonight, and you know who you are, those that were on, that left a comment, and those who are just watching, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And we hope that, we can continue to educate, get the message out. And, like we said in the past, whatever we put out there, if it's for you, you take it and you run with it. And if it's not for you, you wait for something to come along that we can share with you that you will take and run with. So until the next time, love to you all. Have a safe evening. And tomorrow is the last day of the weekend. If it's your Friday, like everyone else's Friday, want you to have a safe weekend as well. Okay, so until the next time, love you guys. Thank you, brother.
Okay, man. Love you, Charlie. I'm gonna close out with the video that we played earlier. For those of you that tuned in late, this is from our first show that we did in March of 2020, almost 4 years ago, and this was a clip of it. And I just for those of you that came on late, going down memory lane. Hope you guys remember it. You guys take care. God bless, and we'll see you the next time. Hui ho. Charlie, we joked about in the beginning that if we cannot flatten the curve by being responsible and disciplined, then Charles, we're gonna flatten the curve. We're gonna flatten the curve by playing some flat music, some. So we can flatten the curve that way,
Yeah.
or we can flatten the curve by being disciplined. The other thing, Charles, why don't you tell them about the plan that we're going to seek to get deputized here as um, official COVID-19, we're going
Enforcement.
enforcement officers. And Charlie, let them know how this is going to work.
Well, first of all, we are seeking to be deputized to give the power, and we will be driving around. And if it works, we'll be allowed to drive around. And if we see anyone that fits the criteria that maybe they're taking advantage or abusing, we will stop that vehicle. And then upon stopping that vehicle, we will also we will have options, discretionary options, where we can give a warning, we can give a citation, um, even jail time. But we figured, so far they never learned nothing. The ones who's abusing it right now.
Year in jail, $5,000 fine, not stopping them, Charles. It ain't stopping them.
Yeah. So Mel and I came up with something that we think it's going to work. The violators will have to spend 24 hours with Mel and Charlie.
That,
Yeah.
that is going to stop them. I think, Charlie,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do.
Well,
I spend a lot of time with Charlie on the phone every day. And if somebody told me, Mel, if you do that again, you're going to have to spend 24 hours with Charlie, I would never do it again. I would never do it again. Yeah. All right, folks. Charlie, that was a great blast from the. Charlie, we joked about it in the beginning. Wrong one. There we go. Yeah. Thank you. All right, folks. Until the next time, don't forget, guys. Hit the little. Check this thing out here. If you didn't already, go ahead and subscribe. Every time we post up a new video, you guys will get notified. We love you guys. Take care. God bless. Until next time. Ahui ho.
Oh, yo.
Aloha.